We're going to start lying down today. Again. So same position as last time, which was reclined bound angle. This one with the feet soles, only we're not using a bolster today. We're just going to lie back. So again, if the knees are up higher, we can certainly take our blocks to the outsides of the thighs so that we have some support for a little bit more release and relaxation.
Do I need them?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Yeah. Good call.
Is that too high?
No, I don't think so. Even if you don't feel a really big stretch, it's okay because the muscles can relax a bit.
Okay.
And you're just going to lie here, let the eyes close. Connect to the breath. This is technically a pose of surrender. So you really want the body to be able to be soft and supported. And then connect to the breath. Just start to feel the breath moving in the body. And as you settle in, just start to feel gentle movement at the belly with the inhale and the exhale. We're really going to let our awareness settle into the rib cage. So start to feel as the ribs float up and float down. We tend to notice our front ribs first, so then become aware of your back ribs. And obviously some of the movement is restricted from the mat beneath us, but just feel the back ribs moving with the breath. Now become a little bit more aware at the rib cage at the side of the body. And as you breathe in, feel the rib cage expand front to back as it does, but also laterally, expanding out three-dimensionally. And then descending back in. We'll have a focus within our practice today on the lateral body or the side body. And it's kind of an area that we tend to not get into as much when we exercise or through a lot of typical daily movement. So now we're going to add some movement. We're going to see if we can maintain that nice awareness to the movement and the fluidity of our rib cage moving. But we're going to add some movement with the legs. So in this position, all we're gonna do is take an inhale here with the legs open. And then as we exhale, we're gonna bring the knees up towards each other. The feet can still stay feet soles together. We don't need to come up all the way. Inhale, we'll start to float the legs open again. And exhale, bring them to closed or close to closed. And we're just moving back and forth. And we're connecting to our pelvic floor here, so as we inhale and open, the pelvic floor will soften and release. And as we exhale and close, pelvic floor will gently lift and engage. It's nice and easy, mindful movement. We'll do one or two more. And next time the knees meet, we will just bring them together and bring the feet flat on the floor. And then just settle into your alignment, so feel that the spine is straight. And then bring the feet up off the floor so that the knees are stacked above the hips. And we're going to do reclined toe taps, which we've done before. So this is the one where we're going to have the legs at a right angle, and we're going to try and keep that still leg perfectly still while the other leg reaches out towards the end of our mat and taps and comes back up. So for some people it might be a toe tap, for others it might be more of a heel tap. So when you reach out with your moving leg, the challenge is to keep the still leg still and at a right angle. Try not to let that knee come closer to the belly, and try not to let the heel drop. That's the tricky part. And keep the jaw soft. Collarbones light. Heels a little higher, guys. Yeah, that's it. Good. And reach out, keep the other one still. That's it. Good. Breath is flowing. And probably exhaling on movement. Really want to keep a focus on the breath with our core work and the integrity of the movement. Excellent. Okay, and then we'll bring the feet down for the moment. You can hug the knees in. Just release the belly a bit. Maybe the low back, rock side to side. And then the feet will find the floor again. And we're going to move into dynamic bridge, which we've done several times. So our inhale is while we're on the ground. And then our exhale is to lift the hips as high as we're able. And then the inhale will bring me back down, rounding the pelvis a bit so my tailbone touches last. And then exhale, pelvic floor engages and supports the move. Inhale. So if your exhalation is quite long, probably a bit longer than your inhalation, but if it's quite long, your hold will be longer. So no need to rush it, just allow your breath to dictate the length of your movement. Press the feet into the floor as you lift, let the glutes engage slightly for back support. I'll try for one more. And then after this one, we'll bring the hips back to the floor. Good. And then we'll roll to our sides. And slowly make our way up to a seated position. So it can be a comfortable position. It can be seated cross-legged in what we call easy pose. But for many people, this doesn't actually feel very easy. So even if legs need to be out straight or in this bound angle, whatever feels best for you. We'll lift the hips up a little bit on the prop just so we get that nice tall spine. Okay, and we're going to take the left hand on the ground. And the right hand will come up in the air. And all we're going to do is inhale here and exhale, tip over to the left. And then inhale up. Exhale, tip back over. Inhale up. So how active the body is depends on your energy level. You can press down into this hand to lift you up a bit more. Get a lot of length into your curve. Inhale up, just moving dynamically with the breath. Tipping over. Feel the expansion through this right side rib cage. Heart into the shoulder. You can take the arm down to parallel. Actually, you could take the arm down, really. Your focus is on the lateral part of the body today. So no need to force the shoulder. We're going to stay over in this last one. And I just want you to feel the right side rib cage fill with breath and really expand open. Good. And then inhale to come back up. And we'll switch sides. So now it's left arm up, right arm over beside the hip. Same on both sides, Ken, or just one?
This one's
More. Okay, inhale, get really long, and then exhale over. And try to notice if the left sitting bone is trying to lift up. Place it back down. Stay grounded through the pelvis. And over, opening up all sides of the rib cage, filling the breath. Nice and easy movement. Good, we'll do one more. And this one will stay. Let the breath fill the left ribs. this just gives the shoulders a roll. Okay, we'll come on to hands and knees. So you can pad the knees if they prefer that. And we're going to extend the left leg back. Keep the hips pointing down. And then the right arm, if that feels available. And then we're going to add our crunches. So as we exhale, we're going to pull in. As we inhale, we're going to lengthen out. Trickiest part is to round the low back and the mid back when we pull in. So really try to round as you breathe out. Core and pelvic floor are helping with some of that stability. Inhale nice and long. Good. Finish that one on that side. And then we'll come to neutral. And switch it over to the other side. So right leg up, left arm, and pulling in, really rounding, and lengthening out. Good. And we can do this one standing if we need to. Just from a chair, pulling in, and lengthening out. One or two more. Good. Okay, we're going to stand on our knees for a moment. This one sometimes is a little hard to feel if you've never done this before. What we're going to do is we're going to take our left hand to the inside of our right thigh. Sometimes I find if you actually lift the right leg off the ground, you'll feel it a bit more, but you'll also become more wobbly, obviously. So you can keep the leg down, but what you're going to do is you're going to press the thigh into the hand and the hand into the thigh. Feel anything? Do you guys feel anything activating? Besides your leg muscles and your arm muscles? No. Bring your awareness into your waist. Okay? Switch sides to the other side. And just feel into your waist and see what you feel. Yeah. Switch to the other side now, Jack. Take the opposite hand, yeah. Just do each side once or twice. So, we use this sometimes to fire up our oblique muscles. Yeah, you can feel it now. Our side waist. Good. It's sometimes tricky to connect to at first. Okay. You can use your blanket for the foot, or if you still want the blanket to kneel on, which you may very well want, we're gonna come into gate pose, which we haven't done yet this session. So these bolsters are actually a pretty good size that we could use a bolster for our foot too. So the pose looks like this. Okay, so we're gonna turn sideways on our mats, and we're gonna come to kneel at the front edge. This pose is considerably more challenging than it appears. So the right leg's gonna come out, and it's gonna turn, the whole leg's gonna turn so the knee points up and the toes point up. Now if you can have your foot flat on the ground and your knees straight, by all means do that, but it's pretty challenging for most people, including myself. So I still use a prop under my foot. Now our hips are gonna face forward. If this hip is pulling back, just let this knee come forward a little bit. Okay? And then we take our arms out to the side. And again, we're going to get into this left side body. So the right arm will come down. And then we'll just tip over. It may not be a big movement. Just like we did when we were seated, you're really just trying to open up the left side of the body from the hip up. Get a little stretch in there. You can put a bit of activity into the right arm, just pressing like we did into the floor. Keep the spine nice and extended. Keep breathing. It's the tricky part in this. And then come back up. Now sometimes our backs feel a little vulnerable for some people in this pose. So we can move dynamically, and we'll try a couple of these, but I want you to be really mindful of how. So we're going to move over on our exhalation and come up on our inhalation, but only if it feels safe for the back. If it doesn't, then just come to your opening and pause there. And then of course this is a great one for those who can't come to kneeling. We can still do it on the chair. Back and forth. One more. Get rid of all that stickiness around the pelvis. Good. And now basically we just slide our blanket over a little bit, move our prop to the other side. The key here really is to make sure that your toes and knees point in the same direction on that extended leg. And then arms will come up. Find your leg with your left arm. And the right arm finds a comfortable position. For some people it might be right up. For others it's a little further away. Inhale up. Pelvic floor relaxes. Exhale over, and it's helping to support the movement through some engagement. Back and forth if that's available, or just holding. Head goes where you like it. Some people like to turn and look up under the arm. For others, that's too much on the neck. Focus on the breath, filling the side ribs. Good. And we'll release. And we'll come up to standing. relatively aligned, comfortable position. And just imagine stacking your joints as we've done each week to an upright and tall, open posture. Thumbs facing forward. Some people like palms facing forward. Keep the throat open. And then close the eyes. Just notice where the body drifts. Notice if the body feels equal. Some people call this samastitihi, which means equal standing posture. Okay, we can open the eyes again. Now this one gets fairly deep into the shoulders, so you can decide. You don't need the arms. We can do it without the arms. We're just going to reach down with the left arm and open up the right side body. Okay, so whether this arm is up doesn't really matter. You can still feel it. You can take the arm into more of a teacup position if that's better for you, Ken. And then back up. And same thing over to the other side, adding the arms if it's okay for the shoulder girdle. Really your focus is on moving the breath through the rib cage, moving through this whole side body. Keeping the weight equally through both feet. Try not to shift way over into the side that you're bending. Inhale up. Exhale over, just alternating one side to the other. Moving on our exhalation, so our core and pelvic floor engages and supports the movement. Good. Okay. We're going to come into, this pose has lots of names. Shiva pose, goddess pose, horse pose. So, I think we've done this one already actually in this session. Basically we want to focus on our knees pointing the same direction as our toes. So try going down once and just see where the knees want to be. And if they start to fall in, it just means we turn our toes in. Okay, they'll be a lot happier if we do that. And then we're going to come down into this position. And you can almost relax a little bit. And then we're going to take the same curves. So again, arms are optional. We're just going to tip over to the left with or without the arm. Inhale up. Tip to the right on exhale. Inhale up. A couple times switching side to side. Try to really let the breath guide this so that there's no breath holding. And if the legs need a break, just straighten them for a moment. Maybe wiggle them out a bit. Loosen up the hips. Okay, this time we're going to do come over and hold. Okay, so we're going to come to the left and hold, and we're going to breathe through that rib cage, filling up the whole right side. Strong legs, pressing down through the feet. Breath is smooth and fluid. One more exhalation there. And rise up. side. Good. And of course, can do it on a chair on a lower energy day. Excellent. Just, yeah, move out the hips a little bit. Good. Okay, back to the floor for our favorite planks. Yes. Okay, so you guys have been coming since the beginning. So you've made a lot of progression, you've tried lots of different planks. We're going to add on again today, but you're always welcome to do one of the other stages if this one doesn't feel right. And we can do this with knees down as well. But basically where we're going today is down and up and down and up. And if you're feeling particularly energetic, then it's with knees up. All kinds of fun. Try to keep the hips down. Yeah, it's hard to keep the hips down, particularly when you go down into the dolphin plank on forearms. That's it, good. Excellent. Is that okay for that shoulder?
On my wrists.
Oh, the wrists. Oh, the old body, hey?
Oh yeah. Bark, bark.
Yeah, that's okay. It's gotten us this far.
Just the right pace so you don't have to.
Yeah, just take it slow. And then take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just lying down, hand over hand, or turn to one cheek, whatever feels best for your neck. You can turn toes in and heels out. This gives that sacrum a little extra space. Now might be a good time to pay a little gratitude to that body. Okay, so we're going to come up into side plank now. We've done one version of side plank, which was more, we went from our tabletop into this modified side plank several weeks back. We're going to do it a bit differently today. So just to keep the shoulder a little more stable, we're going to do it on a forearm. Okay? There's lots of options for side plank. So we can actually just keep both knees bent like this, and then we lift. Remember those muscles that we were trying to activate by pressing here? That's what really drives this lift, is these underside obliques. We lift the hips up, and we keep lifting here as high as we can. So the hips are lifting. We might take the arm up, we might just keep the arm down. Keep breathing. Knees can even, legs can press into each other a little bit. Good. And then lower the hips to the floor. Okay, that's one way. Some people also really like this way, where the bottom leg stays either bent or straight, and this leg comes over. It's a little harder to do on a forearm, but then we lift this way.
Easier on this one.
Easy, yeah? Oh yes, it's much easier with a straight arm, as long as your shoulder's okay. Yeah?
No, it's as long as my shoulder can,
So,
strong enough to hold me up here.
yeah, and part of that key is to get that shoulder blade right onto your back. Yeah, with this lift, and it's this lift here that really rolls that open. That's awesome, you guys. And then slowly come down. Nice and easy. Good. Good work. Just take it easy. Okay, so this side you can choose whichever one you preferred out of those. And you're going to find your way up. And then really try and lift whichever version you're in. Lift those right, that waist. Lovely. Breathe, strong breath. Good. And lower. That's excellent. Yeah, one more on that side. Just so you're equal on both sides. And we can do it on a chair as well, if that's easier for the folks at home. Excellent. Lower the hips slowly. And take a break. We're actually going to lie on our bellies so we can come there for our break. Just relax for a moment. Let the heartbeat slow down a bit. The breath slow down. We're going to head into Cobra pose. So we've done this one quite a few times. We just want to start with that good foundation, lengthening our legs back so that we can ground the thighs and the pelvis into our mat. And lift. You can move dynamically with your breath, or you can lift and hold for a couple breaths. Whichever you prefer. Lift is coming from the mid-back. One more lift. Good. And relax for a moment. When you're ready, we'll make our way to a seated position. something to sit on, a blanket or even the bolster is fine. And we'll have a strap. So the strap is not to take us deeper into the pose, but the strap is to help us with the integrity of the posture so that it just gives us something to hang on to. If I can get it around my feet, there we go. So it helps us go from this position where the spine is rounded just to this upright position. So the elbows can draw out. We can engage the leg muscles before we add the hinge, so get them nice and active. And then we just hinge forward a little bit. And it might be a really small movement because we're going to focus on the integrity of it being a hip hinge versus a spinal rounding. And then try not to lead with the chin. We really like to do that, but we're going to try and keep the ears over the shoulders, the head stacked. And then if you find as you're here, the body lets go a little bit, you might walk down a little deeper. But it's nice and easy, and the spine gets to stay in a good position. And the breath flows. If we want to add dynamic movement, we're going to inhale up and exhale into a hip hinge. And inhale up and exhale. Sometimes you get a little more freedom that way. The back will start to release a little bit, but it's very small movements and it's nice and easy, well controlled, not pushing. Exhale, pelvic floor engages, supports the movement. Inhale, the pelvic floor softens and relaxes. And then we'll release the strap. We're going to come to lie down. But we're going to have a bolster handy and maybe even a block. We'll see what we need when we get down there. We're going to do a pose that we haven't done. It's called twisted roots. It's kind of like, you know, the eagle pose we've done, like that. It's kind of, the legs are like that. So I'll show you first because it's hard to follow once you get down. So most can't wrap the foot, and that's okay, we don't need to. We'll just keep them all working together. And then we just tip over in this position and find the place where our legs rest. So it might be here, they might come a little farther over and be supported by a bolster. But they're going to stop somewhere where they need a bit of support so that this all lets go. Okay? And the key, how you know how far to go, is that the opposite shoulder and armpit are on the ground. And they're not doing this trying to hang in space. We want the body to soften here, and it's a big opening for that one side. But it's through support that we get that opening. So have your props handy. We're going to go right leg over left. Yeah, just switch so we're all the same. Right leg, yeah. So the chest stays pretty much facing up. Your support is there under the top knee or part of the thigh, wherever it lands for you. But the right shoulder is nicely settled onto your mat. And then once you're there, with enough support that you can actually soften the body and relax, then you'll close the eyes. Yeah, your bottom foot can come to the floor, Jack. Yeah, there you go. Is that okay?
Better.
Yeah. Good. And then relax. This is a little bit of a longer hold. Feel the soft tissue of the body start to soften with each exhale. And the bones become a little heavier. And feel the breath moving again through the right side body. Particularly easily with each breath. Feel the entire back of the torso. Release through a heavy softening. Shoulders soften back. Upper arms, lower arms, both relaxing. Fronts and backs of the hands and the fingertips, all releasing. The entire face relax. And the back of the skull become a little heavy and its release. As the whole body relaxes, bring your awareness very gently into the right side of the body. Feel the entire right side of the body deeply relax. Let the awareness settle further still into the tip of the right thumb, the right index finger, middle finger, elbow. Shoulder. Right side rib cage. Hip. Knee. The right big toe. Second toe. Third toe. Fourth toe. And fifth toe. Allow the entire right side of the body. To fill with breath and completely relax. Allow the awareness to gently drift over into the left side of the body. Allow the entire left side of the body to become heavily relaxed. And let the awareness settle into the tip of the left thumb. Index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, center of the left palm, elbow, let the awareness settle into the mind. Just become aware of the mind. Notice the thoughts, recognitions of the mind. We tend to have this desire to focus on stopping the thoughts when we meditate. But really the mind's job is to think and have thoughts. And so what we're actually trying to do when we create awareness of the mind and the thoughts is to just not become attached to the thoughts. So notice the thoughts as you have them. And just let them float by like a cloud. Without running away with them or becoming too attached. Just acknowledge them. Notice that the body can stay soft and relaxed regardless of the thoughts, because we're just watching them come in and letting them go out. Take the hands together at the heart. Take a nice full breath in. We can exhale out the mouth if that feels good. Let the eyes open.